Today, we're getting into something really core to how we interact professionally, socially. Basically, how we signal respect and, well, judgment.
Exactly. We're tackling two crucial C1 level phrasal verbs, look up to and look down on. And the aim isn't just definition, it's about getting them into your instinctive toolkit.
Because they're like two sides of the same coin, right?
Yeah.
Hierarchy, status.
Yeah.
It's all packed in there.
Absolutely. So your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to really internalize these, especially their grammar. They're fixed, rigid, and getting that right is key.
Okay, so to make this real, where are we setting the scene?
Picture this. Paris, near the Jardin des Tuileries. We're inside a very old, very prestigious fashion house, an atelier. Think high pressure, tradition, incredible attention to detail.
An atelier, like a master workshop.
Precisely, where skill and heritage are everything. And into this walks Julien, our protagonist. He's a young design intern, super talented, but totally new to this world.
Okay, I can feel the pressure already. He's got to impress, learn the ropes, deal with maybe some skepticism.
Exactly that. He needs to figure out who to learn from, who to, well, watch out for, and the language he uses or hears around admiration and judgment, that's where look up to and look down on become critical. His C1 fluency is really tested here.
Right, let's break them down then. Section 1, the social spectrum. Before the grammar, what do these mean metaphorically? Because it's not about literally looking up or down, is it?
Not at all. That's the first major point. These are purely about social hierarchy, about positioning yourself or someone else. It's about status, respect, or the lack of it.
Okay, so not physical sight, but social standing.
Exactly. They establish a kind of vertical relationship who's above, who's below in terms of skill, experience, maybe even moral standing.
Got it. Let's start positive. Look up to. What's the core idea here? It's more than just respect, isn't it?
Oh, much more. Look up to means deep admiration. It's seeing someone as a role model, a mentor, someone whose qualities or achievements you genuinely aspire to. It's active.
Active aspiration. I like that. So the mental image, it's like craning your neck to see the top of something amazing.
Sort of, but metaphorically. Think of looking up at a masterpiece, something perfectly crafted, like a stunning piece of architecture where everything just works. It evokes awe, respect, and that crucial element. Emulation. You want to be like that.
Okay, so back to Julien and the atelier, his boss, the chef d'atelier, Madame Dubois.
Madame Dubois, yes. She's the ultimate authority, the keeper of the house's standards, decades of experience, flawless technique.
So if Julien just says, I admire Madame Dubois, that's fine.
It's fine, but it's a bit weak in this context. It doesn't capture the intensity. It doesn't show he wants to absorb her skills, her whole approach.
But if he says...
Yeah.
What was the example?
I look up to Madame Dubois. Her commitment to detail is a masterclass in elegance.
Ah, okay. That hits different. Look up to Dunoya immediately flags her as the gold standard for him.
Exactly. It validates her position and signals his own ambition. It says, I see your level, and I am actively striving to reach it. It sets up that mentor-mentee dynamic instantly. It implies he's studying her, learning from her every move.
So it's respect plus aspiration plus this sense of, like, diligent study.
Precisely. It suggests a sustained engagement with her excellence.
Okay, now for the flip side, the tense one, look down on. This isn't just disagreement, is it?
No, not at all. This is about judgment from a perceived position of superiority. It's contempt, disdain, condescension, feeling you're inherently better than someone else.
Wow, okay, so the mental image here is maybe someone literally standing on a balcony, looking down critically.
That's a good way to think about it. It's using your established position, your status, your experience, to dismiss someone or something as fundamentally inferior, unworthy.
And poor Julien, the intern, he's probably getting this from
some of the older established designers, maybe. They've been there forever, perfected the traditional ways, and they might see his new ideas, his digital methods as frivolous, as just trends.
Right. So if they just disagreed with his design, that's one thing. But looking down on him, that's personal.
It's totally personal. It dismisses him, his generation, his approach, based on their perceived higher status and experience. It's not just about the work. It's about his perceived lack of worthiness or understanding.
The example quote captured that well. The older designers often look down on us, young interns, dismissing our fresh ideas as merely trends.
See, it's pure status play. Look down on draws a sharp line. We are the guardians of quality. You are temporary and superficial. It's about maintaining power.
And that's a really crucial distinction for you listening. Use critique or disapprove for disagreement on merit. Use look down on when you specifically mean that feeling of superiority and contempt based on status.
Absolutely. It's a loaded term. You're signaling that one party believes they are inherently better, which brings us neatly to why the grammar has to be so solid.
Okay, section 2, grammatical rigidity. This is the C1 anchor, the non-negotiable rule. You said they're inseparable.
Completely, utterly, mandatorily inseparable. Look up to and look down on function as fixed three-part blocks. You cannot break them apart.
3 parts. Look up to or look down on. And they stay glued together.
Glued is a good word for it. Think of them as single units, like a compound verb.
Right.
And the object, the person or thing being looked up to or down on, always comes after the entire three-part unit.
Always at the end. VPP object. Verb, particle, preposition, object.
That's the structure. Look up to object, look down on object. You mess with that order, you break the meaning, and frankly, sound unnatural.
So what's the big mistake people make? You called it the sandwiching mistake.
Yeah, that's the Tiller error. People try to insert the object, especially if it's a pronoun like him, her, them, into the middle of the phrase.
Because they do that with other phrasal verbs, right? Like pick 'em up or turn it down.
Exactly. That's the trap. Many two-part phrasal verbs are separable like that. I called her up is perfect, but you absolutely cannot apply that logic here.
So Julian, talking about Madame Dubois, he can't say, I look her up to.
No, never. It sounds instantly wrong to a native speaker. It's jarring. Similarly, the older designers can't say they look us down on.
It has to be, I look up to her, and they look down on us.
Correct. The pronoun, just like a noun, must wait until the very end of the three-part verb unit, look up to her, look down on them.
Okay, let's make that super clear. Why? Why are these different from call up or put off? You said something about the final preposition.
Yes, that final preposition to in look up to, on, and look down on is key. It completes the idiomatic meaning and essentially fuses the three parts together grammatically. It makes the whole phrase function like a single unit that needs its object afterwards.
Like that last little piece locks the structure.
That's a great way to put it. It locks it. So while put it off is fine, look her up to is grammatically broken because that to needs to be part of the verb unit before the object her appears.
So for everyone listening, drill this. Look up to her, look down on them. The object comes last. Mastering this avoids a really common C1 pitfall.
It really does. It shows you've internalized this specific, somewhat unusual, rigid structure.
Right, structure nailed down, section 3. The semantic boundary. This is the other trap, right? Confusing the metaphorical social meaning with literally using your eyes.
Yes, this is crucial for clarity. These two phrasal verbs, look up to and look down on, are reserved exclusively for expressing that social or professional hierarchy we talked about: respect, aspiration, contempt, judgment. They are not for describing the physical act of seeing.
So if I use look up to when I just mean I glanced at the ceiling, that's wrong.
Completely wrong. It sounds absurd because you're using a word loaded with social meaning for a simple physical action. The up and down in these phrases have lost their literal spatial meaning and become purely metaphorical.
So their purpose is social commentary, not visual description.
Precisely. Think about Julian again. If he's physically looking around the atelier, maybe searching for something on the floor.
He wouldn't say, I'm looking down on the floor for my pencil.
No, he'd just say, I'm looking at the floor, or I'm looking for my pencil. Using look down on would imply he suddenly feels superior to the floorboards.
Okay, so for the simple literal act of seeing, what does Julian use?
He uses the basic verb look, often with at. Look at. It's neutral, it's direct, it's about visual engagement.
Like the example. After work, I look at the beautiful ironwork near the Palais Royal.
Exactly. He's just using his eyes to appreciate something visually. No hierarchy, no judgment involved. If he said, I look up to the ironwork, it would sound like he deeply respects the railing's moral character.
Huh. Okay, got it. Or, professionally, I need to look at the fabric quality.
Yes. Simple visual inspection. Look at keeps it neutral and literal.
So let's nail the precision. Quick contrast.
Okay. Literal physical seeing. I look at the design sketch. Quick, neutral, visual.
Metaphorical, social judgment. I look up to the master tailor. Or some people look down on fast fashion. Loaded, hierarchical, opinion-based.
That's the core distinction. So the rule for you listening, ask yourself, am I talking about my opinion of someone's status or worth? Or am I just talking about using my eyes?
If it's status or opinion, use the fixed three-part verb. Look up to or look down on.
If it's just seeing, use look at. Get this right, and your communication becomes much clearer, much more precise. You avoid sounding awkward or accidentally insulting the furniture.
Absolutely essential for navigating complex places like that atelier or any professional environment, really.
Okay, let's pull this all together. Section 4, final synthesis. We need to turn this understanding into reflexes, right? For that C1 competence.
Exactly. This is about making the linguistic precision automatic, so it supports your social and professional goals rather than undermining them. It's about confidence.
So, Julian's survival guide. 3 reflexes. What's number 1?
Reflex 1. Admiration, aspiration. Feeling that deep respect for a mentor or standard. Your automatic linguistic choices look up to, like, he knew he had to look up to her methods to succeed. Object at the end.
Got it. Reflex 2. Reflex 2. Contempt judgment. Expressing or describing that feeling of superiority, that status-based dismissal. Your go-to is look down on. Example. She hated the way they would look down on new ideas. Object at the end.
And the crucial underpinning. Reflex 3.
Reflex 3. Grammar is locked. Always. Both verbs are inseparable 3-part units. The object, especially a pronoun, always goes last. No sandwiching. VPP object every single time. Burn it into your brain.
And that rhythm you mentioned?
Yeah.
Look up to her, look down on them. It should just flow, right? No hesitation.
Yes, that fluency in the structure signals you've internalized it. You're not mentally assembling the pieces, you're just using the tool. It lets you focus on the meaning, the social dynamic you're describing.
And why is nailing this so important? The value proposition for the learner.
Because getting it wrong, especially breaking the structure, like saying look her up to, instantly signals grammatical weakness. It distracts from your message. Your intended meaning of profound respect gets muddied by the awkward phrasing.
But getting it right, using look up to her correctly,
it shows you understand the nuances. You grasp the social psychology embedded in the language. You can navigate hierarchy and express respect or critique appropriately, which is vital in any professional setting, especially one built on tradition like Julian's atelier.
It projects competence, basically.
Yeah.
You sound like you belong in that C1 conversation.
Exactly. It's the difference between knowing the rules on paper and truly owning the language in practice. It's a subtle but powerful indicator of fluency and social awareness.
Which leads to the final point.
Yeah.
The confidence factor.
Right. When these reflexes are automatic, you free up so much mental energy. You stop worrying about how to say it and focus entirely on what you want to say, your ideas, your arguments, your strategic communication.
You sound more assured, more articulate. You can express that respect or handle that judgment smoothly.
And that is the essence of C1 proficiency. The grammar becomes invisible, simply serving your sophisticated communication needs. You're not just understood, you're impactful.
Okay, what a journey. From the intensity of that Parisian atelier with Julienne, navigating respect from Madame Dubois and judgment from colleagues, right down to the nitty-gritty of that inseparable VPP object structure.
We've seen look up to her as the language of aspiration, look down on them as the language of hierarchical judgment. Both powerful tools, both demanding that strict grammatical form.
Absolutely. Remember that structure. Object always, always at the end.
That's the key takeaway on form.
And as we wrap up, we wanted to leave you with something a bit broader to think about building on this. We've seen these verbs map social hierarchies.
Right. So the final thought is this. Society clearly uses both admiration, look up to, and contempt, look down on, to structure itself. But do we need both? For a healthy, productive, professional life, is the language of looking down on necessary?
Or could we, perhaps, build a more positive and productive path by focusing primarily on the aspiration, the emulation, the mentorship captured in look up to? Is one side of this linguistic coin ultimately more valuable for growth?
Something for you to mull over. Think about the hierarchies you participate in and the language you choose to use. Do you need both verbs equally?
A provocative question indeed. For now, take this deep dive on look up to and look down on. Practice that inseparable structure and use them with confidence.